Well, hello and welcome to my talk on Mow May. I'm posting this in April because for some of you it really should be No Mow April. So let's take a look at this. Hi, I'm Dave Hobbins from Fort Kent, Maine. As you know, I have interest in bumblebees, and let's take a look at how we can favor them in the spring. So what's all the fuss? Well, spring is a very difficult time for the bees. There's not a lot out there. If you look at native plants, maybe willow is the one. Those of you that garden will have crocus, and those I've seen bumblebees on. So the whole idea is in the spring, if we can delay mowing or mow less frequently, this allows the wildflowers to come up that are in our yard, particularly the common dandelion, which is basically was introduced as an agricultural crop or as a medicinal plant that has spread all across the continent. But think about it. What do lawns do for us? Well, lawns, there's not a lot of biodiversity in lawns. And there's like over 40 million acres of lawns in the United States. And it is the largest irrigated crop that we grow in the United States. And of course, in some places, like the desert Southwest, there are laws against growing lawns because they just don't have the water to support it. So one of the things we can do is delay our mowing in the spring, mow less frequently in the spring to allow the dandelions to come in to help feed the bees, particularly, which are important pollinators. And of course, my interest is in bumblebees. But like I say, I'm in northern Maine, so No Mow May makes sense. But if you're south of Maine, even in southern Maine, it makes more sense to call it No Mow April. And other places will call it Slow Mow Spring. So all those things really just point to the fact that when spring arrives in your area, the snow is just left. There's very little flowering. What can you do? Well, delay your mowing and let the dandelions help feed the bees. So as you can see here from some shots in May, not only bees in general, but particularly the bumblebees will go after the dandelions. In this case, both of these are in my yard in northern Maine. But I don't let it get to this. I mow these, and I'll mow my lawn very low when the dandelion starts to go to fruit and starts to go to seed. And as you know, if you mow dandelions too high, the stalks are still there. You may still get some flowers from this, but at any rate, mow it low and you'll take care of those stalks. Now, the other thing to keep in mind is you can no mow anytime, or you can delay your mowing anytime, because there may be other flowering plants in your yard. Now, I have the advantage that one part of my yard is kind of original pasture, and so, or was until I planted trees. And so I have hawkweed and I have a dandelion, which is either fall or dwarf dandelion, that will come into the lawn. And I will allow them to flower briefly, and when they start to go to seed, I'll mow. And here you can see this is in late August, and I have the fall dandelion, and in the background it's a little hard to make out, there are some yellow hawkweed as well. So I'll let them flower and then mow them low when they start to go to seed. So these are all some things we can do to allow the pollinators some extra food. And there are other advantages. We're not only just feeding the bees, but you're spending less money on fuel, less time, and you get less noise and air pollution. So anyway, please consider it. And it's one little thing you can do that will have a huge impact on the bee population. So thanks for listening. Here are some references if you want to read up on more detail, advantages and details, Bee City USA and the Xerces Society. So thanks for your interest. Bye-bye.